Hello everyone, I am going to be doing a focaccia recipe inspo from the book I found in my kitchen. The ingredients that you are going to need are some all-purpose flour, a packet of active dry yeast, some salt, garlic powder, minced garlic, vegetable oil, and all of your measuring equipment. You are then going to fill up your measuring cup with 2 cups of lukewarm water. You are going to want this to be between 105 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. You will then add this into a decent sized mixing bowl. And one ingredient I did forget to add in the beginning is honey. You do want to add a tablespoon of honey into this mixture as well, alongside with a tablespoon of active dry yeast. Mix this together until well incorporated, and then we're going to set it aside for 5 minutes until it gets nice and foamy. We are then going to work on our dry ingredients. We are going to grab our sifter and we are going to sift through about 5 cups of all-purpose flour. Make sure that everything is nice and smooth and there are no chunks of flour once you get through this whole process. We are then going to add in 1 tablespoon of salt. I am using Morton. Then you are going to add in your garlic powder. This is a measure with your heart situation. This is how much I like in mine personally. And then we are going to mix this all together until they are nice and friendly with each other. After the 5 minutes, this is what the yeast mixture should look like, nice and foamy on the top. That means that is perfect. We are then going to make an indent in the dry ingredients and pour in our wet ingredients into that indent. Make sure that you get everything from your bowl. You don't want anything left behind. We are then going to mix this until it is a nice fall-off dough. Do not incorporate everything just yet. We are then going to add in a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and we are going to continue to fold the dough until everything is now incorporated and nice and smooth. At this point with the mixing process, I personally like to use my hands for the last 5 or 6 folds. I just like to make sure the dough feels correct and that it's nice and smooth and everything is well incorporated with each other. This is what she looks like, nice and smooth, glossy, beautiful. We are then going to add a little bit of oil into another mixing bowl. We are going to grab our dough and we are going to rotate it within that oil. We want it to be nice and evenly coated, nice and saturated. We do not want the dough to be dry. We are then going to put a nice thin kitchen towel on and we are going to let this sit for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. I personally like to have mine in the oven with the oven light on because it holds in the warmness from the light compared to what it would on the counter. After 1.5 hours to 2 hours, we will now be ready to prepare a casserole dish that the bread will be getting moved into. You will then take some vegetable oil and you will spread that on the bottom of the pan and move it around to where there is no dry marks left. This is what she looks like after the first rise. She is now doubled in size. You do not want to punch her down. You want to pull her away from the sides and try to keep her inflated as much as possible and then transfer her gently into the casserole dish. You will then start spreading it out to where it fits the pan more evenly, so when it goes through the second rise, it'll fill the pan more uniformly. We are now going to put the kitchen towel back on and we are going to put that back in the oven with the light on for about 40 minutes. I am now going to start on the toppings for the bread. I am going to be doing an onion and garlic base. I am now just clearing up the onion, making sure all the grime gets off, all the layers I don't want are off. You want to make sure all the dirt is cleaned off. This is what it looks like when it's nice and cleaned and washed. We are then going to cut off the top of the onion. And for this, I am going for more of a diced onion compared to like long onions. So the method that I use is I cut down one way about 6 to 7 times. And I make sure that it is about 1/2 inch away from the root. You do not want to go all the way down. You want to make sure that everything stays together and nothing falls off the onion itself. As you can see, there's still plenty of room on the bottom, but it is still cut. Then you are going to turn it about 90 degrees and you are going to go the other way to where it's almost like a checkered board look. As you can see, it's almost like a blooming onion situation. And then you turn the onion sideways and you cut down, and then boom, you have your little diced onions nice and uniformed. We are then going to add in a little bit of butter to a pan. I put mine on 4, it's about medium heat. You're going to want to wait until everything's a little bit melted down, not too melted, but just enough to where the pan's a little bit hot. And then we're going to add in our diced onion. Once we get our diced onion in the pan, we're going to give that a quick stir, and then we are going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and then give that one last stir, and then we're going to let it sit for a little bit. This is the first stages of it turning a nice golden color. And this is the color that we are wanting. We do not want it fully cooked because it will continue to cook in the oven. We are then going to add in some of our minced garlic. This is also another measure with your heart situation. I think I did around a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half, but I do wish I would have added more. We are then going to give that another quick stir, let that cook for about 3 minutes, and then turn the stove off and set that aside. This is what she looks like after the second rise, and now we can assemble. We are going to want to put down a little bit more oil just for the top, and then we are going to spread that out to where everything is even and nicely coated. We are then going to start indenting the bread. You are going to want to make sure that the pan is nice and filled out and everything is pretty even. And then you are going to continue to do this until it looks good to you. We are then going to add the toppings onto the bread. I'm only going to do it on half of the bread because my boyfriend does not like onions and I want him to be able to enjoy this as well. Once all of the toppings are on, we're going to spread that nice and even, and then we're going to do the indentation motion once more to make sure it is nice and incorporated within the bread. We are now going to set the oven to 375, and we will be baking this for about 30 to 35 minutes until nice and golden brown. While we're waiting on that, we're going to get our parsley ready. I took some stems off of my plant, cut it up nice and finely, and this is what it looks like with it topped with parsley when it comes out of the oven. This is a single slice, nice and fluffy, delicious, and beautiful.